What's up, Passion? This is Zach coming at you with live at 7:45. I hope you guys are doing well this morning. Hope you have a great day at school or work, whatever it is you have going on today. We're gonna be wrapping up this month. Coming up here at the end of January, we're talking about goodness. So I'm excited to be sharing with you guys a little bit of what I feel like the Holy Spirit gave me to talk about relating to goodness. Um, I think goodness is funny. It's kind of one of those things that uh, if somebody asks you how good or not good you are, I feel like it's kind of a sliding scale. Your answer could be you feel like you're great, or it could be you feel like you're the most evil person in the world. But I think it's also funny that that could change within a matter of seconds. If we have one thought that we don't think about or we don't take time to invest in, or whatever, if we do something or feel like we cheated somebody some way, or whatever the case may be, all of a sudden our goodness could have been a 9 2 seconds ago, and now it's like a 6 because we messed up, or it's a 3 because we really messed up. And so it's just one of those things that it's either growing or diminishing, or it feels like it's constantly on a scale. And I know even when I feel like I'm doing really good, there are certain things that come up. Like if you ever read Matthew 5 and 6, it's Jesus talking about the Sermon on the Mount and the Beatitudes, and it's funny how even if you feel like you are doing good at a certain thing, you read something like that, there's like a million other things that we're supposed to be doing, and it's like there is no possible way I can keep up with this on my own. And so I think one of the interesting things about goodness is that it is something that is pretty much either growing or dying in our lives for the most part. It's like it is a fruit of the spirit, and like fruit, it's growing. It's got to be fed. It's got to be nurtured. It's got to be taken care of, because you got to put something into it in order to begin to reap the benefits of goodness. And so the verse I'm going to read from is Galatians 6, 7 through 10. It says, "Do not be deceived. God is not mocked. For whatever man sows, that he will also reap. For he who sows to his flesh will of the flesh reap corruption. But he who sows of the Spirit will of the Spirit reap everlasting life. And let us not grow weary while doing good, for in due season we shall reap if we do not lose heart. Therefore, as we have opportunity, let us do good to all, especially to those who are in the household of the faith." So I think one of the things that's really interesting about that is it talks about sowing and reaping. It talks about putting into it in order to get something out of it. And we can put it into the flesh, or we can put it into the spirit. And if we put it into the spirit, we reap goodness, we reap wisdom, we reap love and joy and other fruits of the spirit that we're talking about. And so I think one of the things I feel like the Holy Spirit told me about, or dropped in my spirit about this, was that it relates a lot to what we've been talking about at Passion. A few weeks ago, Pastor Jenny preached on Proverbs 9 and talking about wisdom and folly. And then last night, even in our Tribeless powwows, we talked about wisdom and folly and the invitations they bring. And one of the questions actually in the powwow was, why is it that the invitation of wisdom and folly is the exact same? They both say, they send out and they say, "Hey, come and eat of the meal I prepared." I'm paraphrasing. But they say, "Come and eat of the food I prepared for you." And I think the reason that the choice is the same, or that the invitation is the same, is that we have a choice. We can choose to go to the house of wisdom, or we can choose to go to the house of folly. The question is, which one do we want to feed? Where do we want to sow? And what do we want to reap? And so goodness is one of those things that I feel like we have opportunities all throughout our day. Every decision we make, everything we have a chance to do, if we actually stop and ask the Holy Spirit for wisdom and discernment, um, we can put wisdom in the place of goodness, and we can put folly in the place of evil or badness, or however you want to describe the opposite of goodness. And I feel like it's one of those things that as we make decisions and as we do things throughout the day, if we ask the Holy Spirit to give us wisdom and to give us discernment and to help us make the right decision, um, it could we can feed the goodness in our lives. We can feed the fruits that we want to see growing in our lives. Because I feel like a lot of times, and we've even talked about this some in tribes, the voice of foolishness, or the voice of folly, the voice of badness, if you will, the opposite of goodness, or evil, would be that evil is it's easy. It's the easy decision to make. And a lot of times, our culture is even bent on things like we want the end result, but we want to achieve it the fastest way possible. We don't want to put the work in to get the product. We want to microwave everything. We want to get it instantly. So if I want this, I could work for it. If I want to, learn a skill, or if you're trying to ace a math test, the difficult way to do it, the right way to do it, the good way to do it is to actually invest the time and the work and master a skill that you can use later in life. And it's not just a one-time quick fix. It's something that you'll actually know how to do. But foolishness and folly invites you to find a cheap way around, another way around. And, in the end, you might achieve the same result temporarily. You might pass the math test or whatever the case may be, but we end up corrupting what is supposed to be good in our life. We sow into the wrong thing, and we end up reaping the wrong thing. And so I want to encourage you guys that, as you're making decisions today, as you're going through life today, really pray and ask God through His Holy Spirit to give you wisdom and discernment to understand the decisions you're making and how they come about, and what the benefits you'll reap from those decisions are. Don't just take the first clear cut path every time that you encounter a decision, but actually ask the Lord to give you some wisdom and be able to choose the good path and the good choice and the thing that's actually going to produce goodness and righteousness in your lives. So, hope you guys have a great day, have a great rest of the week, and we will see you guys soon.